Hello, everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK. I'm Chris. This is my co-host, the Boxing Brain, Andrew, and we are here to talk about the August cards headlining Terence Crawford and Majimov, and it's another one of them Saudi cards with amazing fights on it, but it's not in Saudi. It's in LA.
Yeah.
But it's funded by the Saudis. It's the first one they're doing when they do one of these amazing stat cards, not in Saudi. So it looks pretty good because and hopefully Wembley's next in England.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the next one.
Yeah.
Better atmosphere.
Oh, your sound's gone down a bit low. You're a bit quiet.
Oh, I'll come a bit closer. How's that?
So that's much better. So it's probably going to be a few in Saudi, like a Riyadh season, they're all being Saudi, and then maybe outside Riyadh season, he'll do the world.
Yeah. Well, at least we'll actually have a bit of atmosphere at the events, because I'm like Carl Froch was calling this out, but I'll just briefly mention it. Like, absolutely shocking. Like the 5v5, like nobody was there. It's terrible.
Yeah. Do you know what it is though? The thing is, they say that, but I think it's. You've got to have. They were good fights, like because he's a boxing fan. And Turkey Al Sheikh, he's putting fights on for the boxing hardcore fans, really. So the thing that makes the atmosphere is the casuals who love the knockouts and just go there and go there and like we'll go and watch the fight. We'll get have a jolly go and cheer on AJ or whatever. Because when AJ knocked out Ngannou, that was like that atmosphere around there. Even Froch even said in his video, you could feel a bit of an atmosphere because he starched the guy and everyone was like, wow. And everyone was buzzing and like amazed and all that. Because it just depends. As long if the fighter lights up the ring, like if you've got it's got to be a KO artist. So they don't have to be the best, but if they knock people out in style, like someone like an AJ or how a Wilder used to, or Zhang, like that's what's going to light things up, you know?
Yeah. It's partly I think it's partly just the respectful culture that the Saudis have, and they just don't really seem to cheer, do they? And it's all. I was looking around and like some of them on their phones the whole time, and I don't know. It's just a bit. It was a bit.
Just rich. A lot of them out there are really rich, and they just want to be part of it. But anyway, onto the cards. So we'll start with the little guys. I think we've got Isaac Cruz. That little mini Mike Tyson beast versus Venezuela, whatever it's called.
Pitbull Cruz, yes.
Can you pronounce his name? Can you pronounce his opponent's name?
Venezuela, is it? Or Venezuela? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Yeah, it's one of them ones. But I've got a bit of hay fever, everybody. My eyes are weeping, but
good to see.
I don't really know much about this opponent.
Yep.
Don't really know much about Cruz's opponent, but it seems like it'll be a good fight. I looked at his record; he's not fought total idiots. Like he seems all right. And every fight Pitbull Cruz isn't exciting anyway. It's always exciting. Next we got Ortiz. That's just been announced. Ortiz. And Tim Tszyu's son.
Yeah. And just on that's for the that'll be for the WBA Super Light, the Pitbull, the Isaac Cruz one, won't it? I assume his Super Lightweight title will be on the line anyway. It's got to be, isn't it? Got to be.
Interim title. You know, the mandatory spot. So basically they've got it's basically like WBA regular title for WBO, if that makes sense. So you're not the full champion, you're the secondary champion kind of thing.
Because he's the WBA Super Light, isn't he?
WBA regular.
He's got
the one about Cruz. Oh, sorry, I thought it was about Ortiz and Tim Tszyu.
Pitbull Cruz. Yeah, the world title was on the line, didn't it?
Oh, that's it. We had one world title fight, and then the next one, Ortiz. Yeah, it makes it a bit more spice. But Ortiz and Tim Tszyu, that's for the basically the WBO interim title, so they become fight for fight
Yeah,
actually
that's
mandatory.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that on a little bit I read. Yeah, so that adds a little bit of flavour to the so-called. Well, to call them lesser fights is a bit harsh, but I think when you've got Ruiz and Miller and Anderson v Bicoli, which are really big fights. I mean, that'd be kind of potential. Well, no, I don't know about pay-per-views, but they're potential headline acts on their own, Chris, aren't they? Those fights. So
he's definitely a pay-per-view in America, just because
yeah.
Miller's good at selling fights. Everyone hates him because they call him Big Pharmacy Miller. He just got done for carjacking. Like, he's just a proper bad boy. And
I've just realised, Chris, we've got Big Baby Miller and the real Big Baby.
Big Baby. I think they should fight. Battle of the Babies.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I don't know if this is true, but Jared Anderson picked that name as a little bit of a snub and a piss take to Jarrell Miller. I don't know if there's any truth in that or not, but that's what I heard.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've got like two. I always call them the little guys. We've got the little guys. One's for a world title, one's for an interim, like, mandatory spot. Then, the next one you've got. This is the one I'm most excited for. Anderson versus Bicoli. Because if you've got any American fans out there, you probably don't really know much about Bicoli, but go watch his fights. Look at his resume. He's not a joke. he's a serious contender. Oh, you've gone quiet again.
Is that any better?
Much better.
Yeah. I know Takam was he fought him a little. It was fairly recent. I think it was his last fight, actually. So, but he beat Tony Yoka, obviously. We can maybe quickly mention him. Kuzman, Marius Wack a few years ago, who's got a decent chin, stopped him. Obviously, his notable loss, as we know, was Hunter, where he got stopped. But that's a kind of. I think he had a bit of an off night that night, didn't he, Bicoli? But he's
boxing,
Yeah, absolutely. And Hunter is still, he's a skillful operator. But
Hunter was in his prime then. That was Hunter's prime.
Definitely. And I don't know whether many Americans, as you say, are going to know about. But I mean, not a lot of English people outside of us, more hardcore fans, probably. I think if you went in the street and asked 10 people who Martin Bicoli was, you might get one, if that. Probably,
yeah.
Maybe I'll be a bit, but he's a bit, as you say, very, very good fighter. Big, 6'6", 31. What's he got? 15 knockouts, 20 fights.
Yeah.
Decent CV so far. Bit of a problem. No one wants to really fight him because he's high risk, low reward, which is always a bit of an issue, like matchmaking wise. So,
and people
he's a problem, isn't he?
Yeah, people talk about boogeymen. Like, they used to say, no one wants to fight Luis Ortiz. That was a lot of shit. But I'm telling you now, people don't want to fight Martin Bicoli. They don't want to fight him, not because of his resume, but he's one of them guys who's fucked people up in sparring bad. Quite a few names. Like, he's knocked down Usyk. He's knocked down AJ. He's hurt. And these stories are coming from fighters. Like, Dave Allen did an interview. Oh, yeah, Martin Bicoli. Oh my God.
Yeah,
he's hard. Like, where they've seen him fight sparring AJ and other trainers, commentators. They aren't gone into detail, but I do believe you can only take some sparring rumors with a pinch of salt. But I do believe it's too many people say it that in sparring, like, he's unbelievable. And then people don't want to fight him if he's giving them that tough work in sparring, unless it's for a lot of money. And because he's not a household name, it's never going to be a lot of money. So he's kind of who needs him, man, and stuck.
I think he's when you take into account his attributes, obviously he's 6'6", he's 18 stone. Decent engine for a big man. His inside work is better than what people think. He's powerful. He's strong. He's a problem. He's a real problem if he's on it. If he's hungry and determined. And I think I think he'll really want to put out a statement against Jared Anderson. And I touched on this, but I think this is terrible matchmaking from PBC. I don't know why they're throwing Anderson. I mean, I reckon, I've got a theory. I reckon they're so disillusioned with him, with his antics outside the ring. They're like, right, we can put you in a proper fight now.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
They need to step it up. But let's play a bit of devil's advocate. Jared Anderson is young, he's hungry, he's got good skills, he can hit a bit. He hasn't really been tested properly, but he's had a few wobbles against lesser opposition like Charles Martin. But this is going to be a real test, and he's going to need to be switched on from the first round. So sometimes, like people like Fury, Billy Joe, other fighters, they don't switch on unless they got the fear. If they haven't got the fear, like they don't really fight as hard, they don't really try as hard, they just can't get themselves battle ready and firing off all cylinders unless they have that fear of losing or someone's really good. So we might see the best out of Anderson. My personal opinion is his personality, interviews and stuff. I ain't convinced, to be honest, with Anderson. I just think because America is limited on good heavyweights, they're just clinging all the hopes on him, really. Yeah.
And now, especially now that Wilder's probably gone, I mean, you know, he's going to leave a bit of a kind of a gap, isn't there now? And I think, I mean, look, you know, as you alluded to earlier, Chris, you know, he's 24, young man, 6'4", 17 fights, 50. I mean, he fought Merry, who's a decent operator. He's had a few good wins, Rudenko, and that. I watched the Charles Martin fight earlier after I spoke to you this afternoon, and
it's a good fight.
I thought, you know, and he put Charles Martin down. I liked his shot there. I'm trying to take the positives out of this fight, and a few. His shot selection's okay. He goes to the body. He tries to sort of mix it up a little bit. His footwork's okay. But Charles, he was landing clean. You can only get. I know you can't compare styles and different fighters, and AJ's a different beast. But as soon as AJ landed clean on this guy, the guy you could tell like he didn't want that smoke. But Anderson was landing clean often, and Charles Martin was still coming. And I was sort of a bit. I don't know. I kind of thought, is he? I know he's 6'4", which is an average.
As hard as it says on the tin.
Yeah. Is he going to be big enough to go up against the big boys? And also, number two, if he's not, has he got the skill set and the move? Yeah, I'm not saying, you know, Usyk's on a whole other level, but has he got the skills and the speed and to compensate for that? That's my kind of question mark. So I don't know. It's difficult. This is the test.
Proper baptism. This is a baptism of fire from. This is the test. Let's see what you're made of. Yeah. No more crying to Roy Jones about pressure. You got to show what you're made of now.
That could be the heading for the. That could be the heading for this video. Baptism of fire. I like that. That's good.
Baptism of fire for Anderson. Actually, yeah.
Well, he's going to have to, because you know as well as I do, he's got to get Bakoli's respect power-wise. If depending on how Bakoli comes out, he's got to be really switched on for this fight. He's got to have a good game plan, and I think this is interesting.
How Hunter beat Bakoli is he started fast straight away. Yeah. He just went at him. Like it wasn't really strategy. Yeah, it was a little bit like educated pressure, but not really. Like he was just like staying in the pocket, staying with him, stepping around him, and just throwing and letting his hands go. And because he was come up from cruiserweight, he was a bit more faster, move a bit quicker, and he just went at him. And then obviously that took Bakoli back, and then he just never could get into his own rhythm. And then Hunter just that's how he beat him. So Anderson needs to look at that. And that's the best way to win.
Do you think Anderson, though, because I'm trying to look at it, because obviously it's not really too much to go on. Obviously the last couple of fights were a kind of credible, half decent opponent. I mean, Rudenko, he's getting on a little bit, Rudenko. but he's not as quick as Michael Hunter, is he? And I don't know. I don't know why on this one. I was a bit. I was convinced the last time I was convinced with a win, I think you remember, was Catterall. I just really felt Catterall was going to beat Josh Taylor. And for some reason, I just feel really strongly that Bacoli's going to absolutely mangle him. And I don't, it's probably not going to be that one-sided, but I can see this being a disaster for Anderson. Yeah,
I just think I've just got a feeling Bacoli will win.
Yeah,
I just think Bacoli will win.
I'm shocked this fight's happening, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. And do you know what's funny? I just want to give a shout out to one of our subscribers. Oh. So Bacoli was supposed to be fighting a popular, big name British heavyweight. Yeah, next. And I just want to say, I didn't get my information wrong. I was right, but that big name heavyweight, he pulled out last minute, and he's called Joe Joyce.
Yeah,
he was just about to sign, and then he fought Chisora instead. So that's why it never happened. So yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I actually can confirm that because I read up on that story myself. And
thank you to our subscriber who left a comment and with that information, because it made sense. Because I was thinking, he's not British. Like, why is he fighting? And then obviously, Joe Joyce backed out of the fight last minute to fight Chisora because, like we were just saying before, people don't want to fight Bacoli unless they have to. So if you can get the same money for fighting Derek Chisora that you're going to get for fighting Martin Bacoli, you're going to take the easy win. You're going to fight a guy who's hungry, who's good, against a guy who's lost 10 times, and you're going to get paid the same.
I think this is the thing. You've summed it up really well there. With Bacoli, he's absolutely, because he calls everyone out, doesn't he, Bacoli? Have you noticed that? He's always calling everyone out because he wants to prove himself. And I'll tell you what, a hungry fighter with the attributes he's got at heavyweight that doesn't bring in the paydays for the promoters and all the rest of it. Yeah, why would you want to fight him? You'd be like, oh, maybe swerve him for the time being.
I think he was only fighting him probably because he felt he had to, you know.
Yeah. Exciting.
He's probably going to get paid more money for fighting Chisora, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sadly. Yeah. 1 second. Just going to make a drink. So the next fight we've got is.
Oh.
I'm excited for this one as well. This one, this is going to be a really, really, really good one. Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Jerome Miller.
Oh yes. Well,